I'm Kim Gordon, and I am a musician/artist. The first time I met Kelley was at CalArts. It was a Dan Graham lecture, and I had probably was just graduating from Oasis, and I think maybe Mike was graduating from CalArts. Dan and was in his spiel was talking about punk rock, and of course, and he and Mike got into a heated argument about who started punk rock. He told me that he saw this early, I guess you could call it a band, that I had when I was going to school in Toronto. He called it Noise Garage, which was actually great because I never had a name for what we did. Our teacher, George Manupelli, got us a gig at the Ann Arbor Film Festival. They ended up pulling the plug on us. But Mike was there, and I didn't meet him then, but he said it kind of inspired him to go home and start a noise garage band, which I guess became Destroy All Monsters. I saw Destroy All Monster, but not till later. It was some version of it that played at ATP when we curated that at UCLA. They were just setting up all their gear, and that was like the beginning of their set. And they set it up, they played for a bit, and almost like an organism that sort of came together and sort of moved around a bit, and then there was I don't know. I mean, Mike grew up in Detroit or Ann Arbor, area. You know, the music was such a big part of all the political things going on, the MC5 and, the political rallies. And Iggy, I think, was such a, almost like a musical interventionist, using his body to really just shove it in people's face and letting them know that this was not going to be a conventional concert of your passively watching and I'm up here kind of situation. Maybe that influenced Mike, as far as how he used his body in performances. He really used gestures and he was well aware that he could make himself look really comical. I mean, Plato's Cave, I felt like we were some kind of a Greek chorus to it, and I always thought of Mike as a performance artist, more than a visual artist, and at some point I realized the work was the performance.
Take my hand, you might as well. We're going straight to hell.
When we did Dirty, we were at that point using different artists, or asking different artists if we could use their art in this sort of ready-made fashion of just putting it out there in another context. And it was actually, I think, Thurston that saw those. He saw that series, and he was the one who said, "Oh, we should ask Mike if we can use that." I think it's a work that people gravitate towards. The idea of those knitted pieces being gifts of guilt. I mean, I always liked that aspect of Mike's work because I felt like he was using materials that feminists maybe used in in the 70s, and was kind of appropriating those materials, but that they took on again this some kind of endearing quality of that he set up on the on the arenas. They were like sort of a sweeter side to his work.